winding down?
Yeah, I mean, what's happening is that because it's becoming increasingly uneconomic for big German factories to keep operating because energy costs are rising as demand is falling, they're being mothballed. Their owners are not keeping them producing. Now, of course, that can only go on for a while because, of course, if you have a great big factory, all the machinery, all the equipment, and you've got all the workers, you're still paying massive costs to keep that factory in existence, and you can't sustain that indefinitely. So initially, of course, you look to the federal government for help, the German federal government, that will provide quite a lot of funding, which will start to deplete Germany's own very strict financial rules and will start pushing the German government into ever deeper deficit. And of course, Germany may struggle eventually to start borrowing because, we've been hearing from people like Tom Luongo about the differences between the yields of German bonds and American treasuries. All of that problem is going to start increasing. Eventually, if you conclude that those factories will never be economic again, you have to close them because as a business, you have responsibilities. You have fiduciary duties to shareholders, to investors, to everybody. So you have to close them. You have to cut your losses. And the risk is that this will start a chain reaction across German industry because, of course, if a big factory closes, then all the smaller businesses that are suppliers to that factory will also be forced to close, and then you get a chain reaction. And that process of deindustrialization in Germany, which we talked about, that will kick in earnest, and it won't be slow, it will be extremely fast. And it risks becoming, not just a recession in Germany, but a very steep industrial depression as well. In other words, a collapse in industries, which some German business leaders are warning about, and the German trade unions are warning about, but an implosion in industries, an implosion in business, a massive contraction of the economy. Now, Germany is the industrial heart, the economic driver of the entire Eurozone, and by the extension of the EU. If Germany goes into that kind of economic tailspin, then it's difficult to see how the rest of the Eurozone will be able to cope. The recession across the Eurozone would be intense and extreme, far worse than what we saw in 2008. And to be straightforward about it, I can't see how the euro in that case could survive. But that's, all some way ahead. Now, I'm not saying all of this is going to happen, but that's the trajectory of travel at the moment. We're heading in that kind of direction. And Herbeck, the economics minister, his plan is that people take fewer showers, shorter showers, that they accept colder rooms, that they save energy in this kind of way. This is his solution to this gathering crisis in Germany.
Real quick, before we talk about Italy, why are the people going along with this, do you think?
Right, well...
Or do they not have a choice?
Well, to such a great extent, of course, they don't have a choice. I think, Germany is a country which has done very well for a very, very long time. There is a lot of confidence in and trust in authorities. There's a very deep belief that they will always find a way out. I think there is that element of trust which is there and which is not to be underestimated. And of course, German workers have great loyalty to their factories, to their employers. This isn't a country where you see people coming out on strike very easily, protesting very easily. But my experience of Germany is that when the Germans do protest, when they finally get to the point of getting out and protesting, they do so in a very, very powerful way. So don't discount the fact that eventually they might come round to it. At the moment, the propaganda about Ukraine is still overwhelmingly intense It's been plugged relentlessly by the German media. Most people still go along with it. Most people, as I said, still retain trust in authorities. Nobody can quite believe that the good days are over and that Herbeck doesn't have a plan, which it's self-evident to me that he doesn't. So for the moment, they are going along with it. But as I said, if autumn strikes, if cold begins, then you could see Germany